Mini's new Countryman promises to be both more fun to drive and more practical. And here's why. The new one comes built on a longer wheelbase, so there's more space in the cabin. And it also comes with this, a little S badge. The Cooper S has a 192 horsepower petrol engine under the hood. Do these two factors combine well and help it up the ante? Let's find out. But first, let's delve under the skin of this car and find out just what it is. On the one hand, the badge on the bonnet says Mini, which of course means tiny, compact and agile. But this on the other hand is an SUV that's significantly larger than the outgoing car. It clearly is bigger, around 200 mm longer than the old car. It is built on a 75 mm longer wheelbase and even gets a larger 450-litre boot. Underneath the new Countryman is the same platform that underpins BMW's X1. So under the bonnet, there's a transversely located engine with power going to the front wheels only. So does this still drive like a Mini? Does it feel athletic from behind the wheel? Does it dart terrier-like into corners? The steering is much better, and in corners and tighter ones it does roll a bit, but it still has that fundamental mininess, that ability to give you a fantastic drive. It's just an absolute ball. It does remind you a lot of the compact, tight Mini experience, and that's exactly what they want. It certainly feels sportier than the other luxury SUVs in its class. And the harder you drive it, the more confidence it inspires. Just what you want. What has also upped the fun factor is the zesty petrol engine. Now BMW have put a petrol in, and this 192 horsepower 2-litre twin power turbo really changes the game completely. Shift down with the pedals, put it into manual, plant your foot, and there's a lovely rasp and it just flies forward. This is an engine that enjoys being spun hard and fast, and keep your foot down from rest and 100 kilometers will come up in a claimed 7.5 seconds, which is pretty quick. What's nice is the mid-range is nice and strong, and then it pulls past 6,000 in a nice, smooth, energetic manner. What's not so nice, however, is that the exhaust sound you hear comes from the speakers, and it does feel a little bit artificial. And though this is meant to be a sporty car, the gearbox is, well, slow. The gearbox, unfortunately, isn't the sportiest around. It takes its own sweet time to give you a downshift, and the problem is exactly when you need it, the left hitting the paddle with a bit of frustration. The other thing that isn't great on the Countryman is low speed ride. It doesn't pitch or feel sloppy, but low speed ride is quite stiff-kneed. This car doesn't come with adjustable dampers, and as a result the low speed ride is a bit clunky. But go faster, increase your speed, and it manages to take even those big bumps pretty well. The cabin of the Mini, however, is a big step up on the earlier car. Whereas the earlier Countryman was a plastic fest, this one is much more upmarket. Except for some hard plastics near the gear lever, material quality is now similar to competing SUVs, and the use of soft touch materials on the larger bits of the dash has only lifted the ambience even more. The large screen now gets a touch function, making it easier to use, and other Mini elements have been carried over, like the chromed toggle switches, the steering column mounted dials, and the circular aircon knobs. And the new Countryman also gets Mini's excitement package. LED lights that deliver a waterfall-like effect on the dash. And you can even change their color. Pretty cool. Comfort in the rear has improved a lot as well. Now, if you're someone who's used to sitting in the back of a Mini, this will come as a bit of a surprise. Look at that, genuine legroom. And the seat, that's set for me. You also get a nice vent here to keep you cool. Headroom isn't too bad, and the seat width is also pretty good. I can even adjust the backrest manually if I can find that damn lever. Yeah, that's it. So all in all, pretty decent backseat to be in, and a surprise for a Mini. The large 450-litre boot even has an all-important space saver under the floor, something that's essential in India. So the new Countryman is now both nicer to drive and much more comfortable to sit in. Space has now taken a clear step forward, the cabin is now built of much better materials, and just as before, the design works fabulously. Mini's blend of timeless retro cool just hitting the spot. The new Countryman also feels more agile from behind the wheel. The steering isn't as good as the earlier car, and low-speed ride could have been better. But this big SUV still feels like a Mini from behind the wheel. It's agile, it's plenty of fun to hold into corners, and then the peppy new petrol engine just adds another dimension. One thing's for sure, at an expected price of Rs 36 lakhs, the new Countryman will give competition like BMW's own X1 and Audi's Q3 a tough time.